welcome back to Garage Built. Of course, my name is Ethan. I have a very special guest with me today, but before we get into that, I just want to invite you guys to subscribe, like, do whatever you can, follow this podcast, because we're going to have some very cool people on here, like the person I have today, and it's going to be good. You're going to want to pay attention. So, without further ado, let's introduce Camden Shirts.
Nice to meet you guys.
Another local South Jordan boy, which is so funny.
Bingham High School. Home of the Miners.
Go Miners. You graduated what year again?
21.
Okay, so Camden's 4 years younger than me, so I had graduated the year that you became a freshman. That's kind of weird to think about. But what Camden has done, I mean, in his personal life, I think is really, really cool. I think you've done some very, very cool things. We'll get into what he does here in a second. But introduce yourself. Yeah, who is Camden Shirts?
Yeah, I'm Camden. Who is Camden Shirts? That's a great question. Yeah, so I've been in Utah my whole life. Grew up in Utah. I have been in the entrepreneurial mindset for a long time, and actually owned a company in high school. And currently, right now, doing real estate. I'm a realtor, primarily working with first homeowners. And, just doing everything I can to scale in life and be successful.
Which is super exciting. And part of the reason why I wanted to bring you on was that you do work a lot with first-time home buyers. But you've worked with kind of a big scale of real estate clients. We'll get into that too. But tell me, where were you before this? What were you doing before you started real estate? What got you into it?
Or do you want to know where it started?
Yes.
Like where the entrepreneurial mindset started, or where was I before this?
It's a great
very
question.
different demographics.
Let's start with where you were before you tried real estate, and then we'll kind of get back into the history. Okay. Yeah.
So I actually taught at the MTC for 2 years.
Okay.
I loved it.
That's the Missionary Training Center for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. Essentially just like training big groups of missionaries that are going to go out and preach the gospel, teach people about Jesus. I was constantly standing in front of groups of like 15 people, typically, just teaching them about, what to expect, and it was great. Yeah. Loved that for a while, but switched over to seminary, which is
a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's the MTC on steroids, essentially. You're still teaching about Jesus Christ and doing those things, but it's in classrooms of like 30 students, and they're all high schoolers. And I ended at a middle school, actually. So I was teaching 9th graders, and that was...
And what middle school was that?
Payson Junior High.
Middle school, okay.
Yeah.
So you went from the MTC down to Payson Middle School, and obviously that you were kind of doing real estate at the same time, right? Or had you kind of gotten into it?
Yeah, so I was doing it part-time. I was still doing part-time real estate when I was at the MTC, switched over. It honestly all kind of stemmed from a fear of not knowing if I was going to make money.
Yep.
And I just knew I had a paycheck coming every 2 weeks. And so when I made the decision to quit my job, it was a big deal for me.
Yeah. And so obviously it's now real. It's now, for, maybe here or there, it's working, right? Where did the entrepreneurship mindset really start for you then? Because you'd mentioned it before, you'd own a business in high school, you'd done a couple different things. Where did that come from?
So my dad runs a company, and he's kind of always drilled into our minds, just business things, stock market, all that great stuff. And
what does he do?
He runs a PEO.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So tons of other things. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's essentially like he takes smaller, like 20-man companies.
Yep.
And he hires them under his wing and makes them one big 100-man company so he can negotiate better health insurance rates for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't even know how he got that started, but he did.
That's unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Go. And then he's branched off. He's got like a staffing company. He's got a medical coding company, all those things.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw how he was with business. I wanted to be successful like he was. And so I actually started a clothing brand in high school.
Is it still going?
No.
Okay.
The LLC is still up.
Okay. That's amazing.
It's actually you can still find it on Instagram. It's called a Spiro Vinco, but you can't buy anything. There's no store or anything. Sorry. But
will not be linked below, so don't go looking for it.
I was working at KTR, which was a trampoline park at the time.
Yeah.
I was a tumbling coach. I was really big into like skate parks and stuff.
There you go.
And I was in an environment where kids consistently got told, like, don't do this, you can't do this,
Right.
or like, you probably shouldn't try this because you just can't do it, right? Spent a lot of time on trampolines doing flips and stuff. And watching people limit other people's potential really bothered me.
Yep.
So I came up with a company called Aspiro Vinco.
Okay.
It's Italian. It means I aspire, I win. So it was a motivational clothing brand. It was,
Yeah.
you know, kind of think of it like a noble, like
Okay, yeah.
like Tom Brady's brand or
Yep,
something like
yep,
that.
yep.
I wanted something that someone could go out and wear as like
As a winner.
statement.
Yeah,
Yeah. As a statement,
Cool.
being like, I can. You know, like, who cares
Very
what people
cool.
say? So I did that for a while. It was primarily through drop shipping.
Okay.
But it was fun. Learned how to set up like an LLC. I worked with attorneys to get like trademarks and stuff. Like, it was
Wow.
legit. It was a legit
way
brand.
legit. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then first
Oh, I
day of
didn't know
opening, like, made $900 in sales, and I was like, dang,
You're like, dang, this is
dang,
real.
this is
There you
sweet.
go.
So
Yeah.
some of my products got out to like Alabama and
Ooh.
had people wearing it in Alabama. It didn't ever get too big.
Okay.
But I had like some people interested, and
You had people like
Yeah.
kind of hanging on. They were like, oh, this is sick. Cool.
so when it was
Okay.
like, you know, I didn't have to be somebody's boss, and
Yeah.
like I saw the potential
you caught
of
the vision a little bit.
like,
Okay.
wow, you could own a company. That's crazy.
Okay, so, you know, obviously that's kind of your background. You've got that coming into, you get home from your mission, you start at the MTC, you become a seminary teacher, you're dabbling in real estate at the same time. Where was the moment where it all clicked, where it became real for you, where it was like, I could do this real estate thing and be my own boss and be my own guy permanently? Like, where did that happen? Where did that happen?
Has it ever
Has
really
it happened?
clicked? So it clicked at one point in time because I quit my job, right? So there had to be a little bit of a click. I feel like I'm still trying to have that click to me.
Cool.
My buddy and I actually have a business endeavor. We're starting a company here in the next couple months, but and that's going to be a whole awesome
Whole
thing.
other thing. Cool.
But I think really where it started to click for me was at the end of the year. I'd been working the MTC, been working, teaching seminary. I loved it. Like, don't get me wrong. If they paid better wages, I'd still be doing it today.
Yeah.
But I talked with my wife. There was a day I just asked her, where do you want to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Like, what do you envision?
Yep.
Because I had a path set out. The path was I was going to teach seminary.
Yep.
I was going to get contracted with them full-time for 5 years. They were going to pay for a master's program for me,
Okay.
which now I'm like low-key dropping out of college. So just like things just changed, right?
Very entrepreneur thing to do.
Yeah,
Yep,
things
that
just
happens,
really flipped
it
on their head.
happens.
But I asked her, I asked my wife, where do you want to be? What do you envision? What kind of house do you want to live in? And what she said did not line up with how much money I would be making.
Right. So you had to pivot somehow.
It just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Did not make any sense. So then I looked at like, okay, well, what do I have? I have got my real estate license. I was doing it part-time. I actually only realistically sold for about 3 months last year.
Yeah.
Because I was in school full-time. I
Yep.
was working other jobs.
Yeah.
So in that 3-month span of time, I sold 5 homes.
Okay. Pretty solid.
That was triple what I was going to make on my part-time job.
Yep. In
And
5 sales.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, exactly.
Yep.
Well, I was going to make more than I would have made on my part-time job in 1.5 sales.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which
So looking at the numbers, I was
changes
like,
things a little bit.
yeah. I looked at the numbers and just thought to myself, I could do this.
Yeah.
Like, I could really do this. We had a nest egg. We had 6 months worth of savings, right? We did everything we were supposed to. We've
Yep.
got money invested in the stock market, and we're in a point in time where, like, I'm young, my wife is young. We could take a risk.
And so it's like, let's roll the dice a little bit. But also, I mean, you're rolling the dice with the odds somewhat stacked in your favor at that point. You got to think, like, I could do this. I did this in 3 months. What could I do in 12?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like odds in my favor haven't been the greatest thing because think about, and here's the thing, you're going to meet with a ton of people who are entrepreneurs, and I'm sure,
Yep.
you know, you've had a conversation with people that are entrepreneurs, and there are markets where there's less competition,
Yeah.
right? High
Utah's
competition.
not one of those.
well, so high competition markets are, I'm talking like pest control,
Okay.
life insurance. Like, those are high competition.
Yes, yes,
Real
they are.
estate definitely falls within the high competition market.
no, absolutely
There's like
it does.
11,000 realtors in the state of Utah.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
I guarantee every single person that's going to be watching this
It's like,
knows
oh, I
a
know
realtor.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you
there's
see the
tons of
billboards,
competition,
everything,
for those people who are entrepreneurs out there that are working different jobs that are in the lower competition market, they, in my opinion, have the odds stacked in their favor.
Way higher in their favor.
Because they're unique.
Yeah.
And they have a vision that hasn't been established yet that it can bring people into. Right? Real estate's the same with me or anybody else.
Yeah.
Right? It's just more drive and work.
It's not a different house necessarily, right? Okay. That's interesting. So, I mean, you've been doing this full time for how long now?
That's a great question. 6 months?
6 months, okay. And we're going to get into why I think Camden's such a baller in a second here. And a couple of these questions are going to bring that out. But in that 6 months, you know, and you did it part-time before then, like you said, for essentially 3 months as you sold houses. Was there a moment that you can identify that nearly broke it for you? So we talked about where it clicked and you're like, I can actually do this. I should actually do this, maybe is a better way of saying it. Was there a moment where you were like, maybe this isn't the move? Maybe I should. Did you ever doubt?
Yeah. I love them. They're never going to watch this podcast, but honestly, it came from my parents.
Interesting.
And it's an interesting dynamic. So my mom just actually graduated from BYU Pathways.
Oh, nice.
She went and got her degree.
Yeah.
But she's a stay-at-home mom. Like, she's got the time to do it, right? Yeah. My dad never graduated college.
Interesting.
And he's a successful business owner,
yeah.
Right? So
was his kind of feeling like, hey, I didn't graduate, but that's not an excuse for anybody else to not, type of thing?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he wishes he would have. Sure. There were other things on his plate at the time that kind of, you know, blocked him from doing it. Sure. Health issues, different things.
Sure.
And
yeah.
But really, anytime I have this conversation with my parents about, here's what I'm doing, it is always go back to school.
Interesting.
Stop what you're doing. Yeah. Go back to school. That's your number one priority.
Yeah.
And for a long time, it's been a hard thing to separate, you know, my mindset as opposed to my parents' mindset.
Right.
And you know, you grow up respecting your parents your whole life, and that's what you're taught to do. Yep. And
you get into the world a little bit, and sometimes it's like, not that that's shaken, but it's changed. It's different.
Right. You have to think for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be like,
especially in
Mommy, Daddy,
world.
tell me everything to do anymore.
It doesn't.
Right?
It just straight up doesn't work. Yeah.
So for a while, I was still I was going to school mostly because I didn't want to let my parents down.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's honestly what kind of broke it for. I mean, I'm new enough into the industry that I'm still making enough money to go like, this is exciting, you know? Yeah. I wouldn't say I've had any
like break it moments.
Yeah, huge break it moments.
Okay.
More of doubts coming from external people who are saying,
the naysayers, they're
right.
For lack of a better term, they're hating on what they see you do.
Right.
Okay. I get it. Yeah.
I think it's out of a place of love, right?
No,
they want a safety net for me.
Yep.
But there's a little bit of sprinkling of doubt. Like, you know, go to school because you get a degree, and then there's safety in a degree, which is false.
Which is, in today's day and age, I 100% agree with you that the safety in the degree thing that maybe 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago was a reality is not. It's not true. When AI is doing everything AI does, and there's a bajillion people smarter than you kind of got to just play your game a little bit. And I 100% agree. Interesting. So naysayers, for lack of a better term, people that are kind of egging you on to do something different. And that's kind of the potential. This could break it. Okay. What do those people think it takes to do what you do? And what is the actual thing that you do? Because I feel like that's where the big gap lies, is that a lot of people, I mean, I have this conversation with people that I know, entrepreneurs. My dad's a day trader. No one knows what he does. I'm not even quite sure how or what he does every day. But he knows what it takes. What does it take for you?
So it's a two-part question, right? What do they think it takes?
Yep.
And then what does it actually take? There's a bad stigma for real estate agents in the state of Utah.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Is it bad?
It's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
Not even just Utah. Everywhere.
Yeah.
We are marked as like one of the number one like scummiest industries.
Interesting.
And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. The blatant corruption that there is in real estate. And it's because lawyers are fiduciaries, right?
Yeah.
Fiduciaries are people that need to uphold legal
There's contracts, there's binding agreements, there's things like that.
Right. We have loyalties. Like it's like loyalty, confidentiality, all those great things that we have to uphold legally as real estate agents. Other people don't have that. Some sales don't have that.
No.
Life insurance doesn't have that.
No.
But I watch people breach those contracts all the time.
Interesting.
All the time. Because there's a lot of conflict of interest in the real estate market. So I think what people think I do is do anything that I can
to get a deal.
Sell a house.
Interesting.
Doesn't matter if they've got good income or not.
Yep.
Right? Get them a home, even if it financially restricts them.
Right.
And make a commission.
Yeah. And trap people in loans that they don't want to be in, or they're going to get foreclosed on, whatever, this, that, and the other. Okay.
Yeah. But in my eyes, what it actually takes, and the reason I love working with first homeowners is it takes an incredible amount of discipline to look at somebody and say, you know what? You could afford a house right now. But no.
Yeah.
It's not okay to afford a house for you right now. Yeah. You will be house poor.
Yeah.
And going through numbers, figuring out how to negotiate in a different way. Yeah. That's my biggest job is negotiation, right? Working with sellers who are so stuck on how much they want to sell their house and trying to be reasonable with them about here's why my clients would be a good offer for you.
Trying to make a deal happen.
Exactly.
But like a deal that benefits the people you're working for, the people that are selling the house that clearly want to get rid of it. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I think is kind of overlooked is like I protect my clients legally.
Right.
These are legally binding contracts, and they can be enforced in the court of law. Yeah. I literally had a contract last month almost go to court on me. Not because of my fault, because another agent made a mistake, and my clients were entitled to this house, but the sellers were like, we're not going to sell it to you.
But they were,
So it was just this whole deal, right?
Yep.
And so what ended up happening is the sellers got into a really sticky situation.
Okay.
And their agent did that to them.
And that's not great.
No.
Obviously.
Right. So to be a realtor, you have to be willing and able to talk to everybody.
Sure.
You have to love talking to people.
Yep.
You've got to be pretty organized in the contracts that you're doing. You need to be educated on what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's not just something you can go in and try and do and mess with people. This is a very serious industry. It's a big purchase, right?
It's arguably a lot of people's, I'd say 75% of people at least, it's their biggest investment of their life.
Yeah, 100%.
Is their house.
Yeah.
Or their houses. Yeah. Super interesting. So, you are a legal agent that's protecting people, but you're also negotiating. You're wearing a ton of hats. You're not wearing one right now.
Nope.
Sorry, I had to. Dad joke.
I was going to wear one today. I was going to.
But you are wearing, you're wearing a ton of hats for these people and for your clients and for the lenders that you work with. I'm sure everybody's kind of got their piece of Camden, I'm sure. With that being said, you're doing all these things, you're learning all these things, you're clearly growing in the industry, you're helping these first-time home buyers, which is, I think, somewhat of a unique and cool market to be really focused on. What are you focused on building within that right now?
That's a good question. There's a few things.
Okay. And if there's something that's coming up that's you can't talk about all the way yet, just tease it. Don't have to say
you're good.
Crazy.
You're good. So my buddy and I, we do have a company that we're starting. It's not necessarily anything to do with real estate. It's kind of more of a complementary company to that. But this is more of a time that I'm in a position where I could do something like this, and it's with a childhood friend that I grew up with. So I won't talk about any of that.
There you go.
Maybe I'll be back on the podcast. Who knows?
There we go.
Right?
Both of you might. There we go. It freaking takes off. I bet it will. So.
But what I'm trying to do right now is the thing about real estate is you chase every deal. Yeah. Right. It's not. There's not a ton of avenues for people to come to you and say, "Hey, I want to buy a house." Yeah. Right. So it's a lot of maintaining relationships, but what I've been focusing on primarily is I've set up a Google company called Camden Shirts Homes.
Nice.
Shout out Camden Shirts Homes.
Shout out. That will be linked below. We will link that below. Absolutely.
But the number one thing is getting reviews, positive reviews of people saying hey, it was so great to work with you. Yeah. All these things. So when people look up homes in Utah, I want to be one of the number one search engines, right? That's one of the things that I'm trying to get set up is having an avenue of people coming to me. Yeah. Right. The other thing is social media.
Yeah. Absolutely. Which I think that's one of the things I want to talk about for sure. Because you've been absolutely crushing it on there. with some of the goofiest and some of the best content for, I mean, real estate agents. Some of them, especially that generation before us, just the cringiest nonsense I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And it's something to where you see it and you're like, that I don't want to. I'm not even down. And part of that, I see a lot of those because I run the company that I work for full time. I run our social media, and
Yeah.
I'm always trying to keep up with roofers and real estate people and all that stuff to maintain those relationships and their content. Oh boy, it's painful to watch sometimes, but yours is pretty entertaining.
It's
good
funny
stuff.
about that. So the office that I work in is just, there's a lot of old people,
Sure.
a lot of people with seasoned people who've been in the industry for a long time. And I'll ask them like, hey, can I go shoot your listing and stuff? I've got some people who love it.
Yeah.
I've got other agents in my office that hate it.
Yeah.
There was one time, and it was probably arguably one of my most viral videos right now, was a house that I shot in West Jordan. And I asked him, I was like, hey, can I go shoot your property and stuff? And he looks at me and goes, well, as long as you don't stand in my sinks. And I was like, dang it.
Well, shoot.
You'll only understand if you go watch the videos. But so I started the video by like sitting in the middle of the road, just going like, I can show you this house on one condition. I'm not allowed to stand in your sink, like this person's sinks.
Yeah.
And it's unique and it's silly.
Yeah.
Like the purpose of it is to like somewhat make myself look like an idiot in front of the camera.
Yep.
But also like, who says that real estate has to be so serious?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, why can't you have fun in the industry? Like,
Which is what I appreciate about your content the most is that it's not. I mean, there's a lot of millennial women. Okay, I'm calling each and every single one of you out. Millennial women realtors that film some of the strangest content. I'm like, who's watching this? Who's buying this, dude? Because it's not entertaining. It's like them walking around a house and like pointing to stuff. That might be some other people's cup of tea, but there's no like retaining value to that.
well, hold on. There's a little bit. There's a little bit.
Let's hear this.
In the tightest clothes possible,
That's a good
mind
point.
you.
In the skimpiest dresses. Right. I did forget to say that. That is very
There's
true.
a hook to some people, and
Yes.
whether they're marketing to the correct people or not, they
Not
do
sure.
have a hook.
Not sure that is a very, very good point. Bring those skirts up just a little bit. Oh yeah. Yeah. Strange. Very different from obviously what you're doing. What's your thought process as you go into shooting one of those?
I just go in, you know what, and that's, people ask me this all the time, like, do you write scripts? And you know what, like, in all honesty, sometimes I'll ask AI, like, hey, I'm at this house right now, like, give me some funny ideas.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me anything. Honestly, it's more of just a way to brainstorm something.
Yeah.
But I just go in there, I set up my tripod, and I just say what comes to my mind. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
And I honestly shoot it in max 2 takes.
Yeah. As you should.
And
Way
you know,
better that way.
yeah, and I think it's a way that I'm able to put some of my personality that people don't normally see
Into something cool.
into something that I'm building,
Yeah.
you know? And so people are like, oh, what do you do? How do you like decide what to do? I just don't. I go there and
You just do.
I just have ideas.
Yeah.
I just have ideas.
Amazing. Yeah, that's so good. I mean, you've got to have a rhythm to it, though. Do you have like a schedule of like, hey, I'm gonna post this day, or I'm just gonna do whatever, make sure I'm posting consistently per week? What's your thought process there? Not sure what that was.
Blow
Just keep
up
it
on
going.
So you run a social media page, so
Yes.
you know the importance of consistency, right? So
Absolutely, I do.
that's something I'm trying to be better at.
Yep.
Right now, the schedule that I'm trying to follow is every other day. But the schedule that it is it takes me about 45 minutes to film in a house.
Okay.
I'm only highlighting the important things that people actually care about.
Sure.
Then it takes me probably about 30 minutes to edit.
Okay.
So most days, I'm just going out day of.
Yeah.
I'm calling people up saying, hey, can I go shoot your listing? Sometimes it's my own,
Yep.
right? But I try to pick things that are like
Okay.
actual good deals.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take very long. So I try to post every other day.
That's awesome. I mean, that's as good of a schedule as you need to have. Some people are like, I need to do twice a day, once at 8 p.m. Just keep a consistent-ish schedule, and it's going to push you out. Let's we're going to wrap up to home base here. If someone, real estate or otherwise, is on their day one of their journey, which you have been in before, and arguably you're still in the beginning of your journey, right? what's your number one tip for someone that's at that day one?
That's a great question.
It's not an easy question either. So I'll
Yeah,
give you
let me
that.
think on that for just a second. I looked over these questions before, and I thought I had a good answer, but I think my answer has changed.
Here at Garage Built, we try to stay prepared. So.
I honestly, like, the advice I would give is if you believe it,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
There are plenty of successful people in this world
Yep.
who have been considered crazy,
Yep.
who have been considered, like, oh, you couldn't do that. There's no
Yep.
way.
Yep.
And there's a ton of naysayers out there, and it's those 9-to-5 freaks. You 9-to-5 freaks out there, if you're watching this,
How do you do it?
don't
every
be such a
day?
naysayer. Come on.
Dude, I don't get it.
And it's
That's
just
why we're here.
And honestly, it's because they have so much security. They are so comfortable in what they're doing
Yeah.
that they have nothing better to do than to target the people who are trying to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And that discomfort makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Someone who could potentially be more successful
Yeah.
without a degree, someone who could be more successful without having a
Yeah.
salary with benefits,
Yeah.
that makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so my biggest tip is if you believe it, do it.
I love that.
And who cares? Who cares what other people say? I mean, you look at the most successful people in this world, and honestly, the most successful people right now are like huge corporations, but like like streamers, YouTubers.
Yeah. Think about those people. They're making, some of those guys are pulling in, multiple hundreds of thousands per year and from their office in their house. Like, it's amazing. But yeah, I love that where if you're thinking about doing something, if you're young enough, if you're smart enough, I don't think that matters. I think just roll the dice, go for it. But like you're saying, you really need to believe in it. You really gotta really go for it if you're gonna go for it.
Yeah, not even if you're young enough. Like, if you have a vision, if you can see it,
Do it. Yeah.
and if you can see it clear enough,
Yep.
and it makes logical sense to you,
Yeah.
then do it.
Yeah.
That's really like
I love that.
that's
so
really
good.
what every successful person has ever done. They just had a vision,
Yeah.
and they're like, dang, Scrub Daddy,
Yeah.
the sponges.
Amazing idea. And how many billions of those have been sold?
100%. And it's a smiley face on a sponge. But his vision was, how can we have some more dopamine,
Yep.
some more happiness in
In
one of
washing
the
dishes.
the worst
The worst
things to
parts
do in a
of your
home.
everyday.
Wash
Yep.
your dishes.
Yep.
Right? And there's just so many people who had a clear enough vision
Yep.
that they went for it.
Yep.
And that's what I'd say is just if you've got a vision, go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Not even if you're young enough.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are in life.
Just do it.
Because people will catch on.
Yeah.
People will feel the vision.
Yep.
If you live, eat, and breathe it,
Yeah.
it's electric. You feel it.
Oh, that's so good. That's such good advice. And with that, that kind of spirit that you've got clearly, which is the very entrepreneurial spirit. I've seen it in so many people, and we're going to see it as we interview more and more people like you. No one quite like Camden, of course. But kind of to finish up here, look at this camera right here and give your 1 minute just testimonial commercial about what it is that you do.
All right. I'm about to sneeze, so we'll see how this goes. But my 1 minute testimony commercial. You could go anywhere in the state of Utah, and you could find a realtor. You could find somebody who says that they could help you find a home or help sell your home. But 80% of real estate agents last year actually didn't even make a sale. What I do as an agent is I work primarily with first homeowners and somewhat of investors, people who are trying to house hack. I work to get people the best deals in a fast and efficient way. And my goal is to fight for you as the agent to get the best deal. Working with buyer's agents, most times it can be kind of a conflict of interest because the higher the home price, the more commission that we make, right, as agents. But my goal is to make sure that you get the home at the price that you're looking for when it makes financial sense to you. I believe in the product of real estate. I really do, on one condition, that you can afford it. So I work with people who are ready, able, and willing to buy homes. And if you're one of those people, contact me.
Now that is what we call a perfect commercial. Now, please hit Camden up. I'm going to link all of your socials in the description below this video or in the description of the podcast on Apple if you're listening on audio. So please go check him out there. As well, the Camden Shirts. What's the Google Maps business name?
Camden Shirts Homes.
Okay, we're going to link that down there too. If you are a first-time home buyer, if you're any sort of home buyer and you want to work with someone that I really trust and I think is one of the coolest people I know, but also just a solid dude, Camden's your guy. I'm going to link everything down below. Last question for you, and this is the surprise question.
Oh, boy.
Because we are a garage-themed podcast, I'm a car guy. You make it big. The first car you're buying. Go for it. Tell me what it
Prius.
is. Yeah?
No.
Cut that. No, I'm just kidding. That's perfect. Great answer.
No. Okay. So I've got an unrealistic dream car and a realistic dream car.
Give me both.
Okay. I think an Audi R8.
Oh, yeah.
So sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I think those things are so sick.
Okay.
That's my realistic dream car. I think that's very obtainable.
Oh, it's very attainable. Yeah. Okay.
Unrealistic, Ferrari F40. The one with like the flip up lights. You know,
just a cool $1.5 million car.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Very, very good choices. You know what you're talking about if you're listing those two cars. Very cool. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
Do you have anything else? One more thing before we go?
Like, follow, and subscribe.
Let's go. All right, guys. I'm just finishing up editing all the footage from my conversation with Camden, and there's some really, really good key takeaways that I want to re-go over one more time that we got from Camden that I think really, really matter. And the first one of those is something that he mentioned when he was talking about if you have an idea, if you have a dream, a dedicated thing in your mind that you just want to accomplish, just do it. Like, call Camden Shirts freaking Phil Knight, because he literally said, in other words, just do it. Just go for it. And then he mentioned some other things that I really think are applicable to all of us who are working right now to build something from the ground up. And that's that, I mean, some things that the world tells us matter don't. And Camden has discovered this. I think he's 100% right here. And it's that age doesn't matter. I don't think where you're from necessarily matters. And most of these limiting factors that I think the world puts onto each of us don't matter as much as we think they do. And I think Camden's story kind of makes that clear, that even though he's young, he's in his early 20s, he's still crushing it as a real estate agent because he's dedicating himself to do that in a cool new way. And I think that's really cool. And that'll lead to something else we talk about in just a second. And one of the things that he brought up as well was, and thing number 2 that we're going to talk about is the hate. Now, whether that's from the other real estate agents, he mentioned that as he is asking people to film at their properties that they're listing or this, that, and the other, that he'll sometimes get people that are kind of hating on what he does. They're naysayers more than anything, and they're telling him that what he's doing isn't quite good enough, or it's not how they would do it, or whatever, and including at a certain point his parents, which is something that a lot of entrepreneurs will come across, is the people that are saying, don't do this, like, you're gonna fail, blah 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 blah. And Camden's tip was to not listen. Don't listen to them, because they're not in the trenches with you. They're telling you not to do it. But what they don't see is what effort you're putting in, what dedication you're putting in. And so while it's great to listen to trusted people, I think Camden's point of you can't listen to the people that are completely doubting you is so important. Because as entrepreneurs, as people who are building something, you really can't listen to those people, because that gets up here. And once it gets up here, it kind of nests. And when it nests, it just turns you into a doubter yourself. And then you start doubting your abilities and your confidence, and then it just snowballs into something terrible. And we've all been there. And if that's you right now, it's not the end. Don't worry, we can get that out of your head. And that's part of what this podcast is to do, is to show you that it is possible with normal people. So get it out of your head. Don't listen to the hate, and just keep going, which is really cool. Last thing that I really liked that Camden brought up was saturation. He mentioned that in Utah, the real estate market is very saturated. But if you caught on to what he said later, he mentioned that 80% of real estate agents did not make a sale last year. How are those people feeding their families? I don't know. Maybe they have another job. Maybe they're doing something else. But 80% of them did not make a sale, and that's licensed. So you got to think, a portion of those people probably didn't even try. They probably got their real estate license and just have it and are just keeping up with it, maybe for investment purposes or whatever. But you got to think a big significant portion of those people just, I don't know, maybe they weren't hungry enough, they weren't trying hard enough, they weren't practicing their skills, they weren't honing their abilities, whatever the case might be. Saturation in a market seems to be kind of a misnomer. Like it's not something that's quite real. And I think Camden showed that too, that even though he is extremely young, extremely new to the business, he's being successful by, and this is crazy, you have to go check out our other podcast that I host with the owner of the company in my day job right here, Easy Rain. Huge shout out, Easy Rain. The Niche Down podcast is by the way you can succeed is by niching down and finding the target audience that you're really trying to reach. And for Camden, that seems to be first-time home buyers or people flipping houses and home hacking. And those types of people are buying from him, and he can really work well with those people because he's tailored his offer to that specific buying group. I think that's extremely important, and it helps you get past the saturation. So a lot of times I've heard this from so many, social media gurus and people that are preaching, find your niche, find your niche. Everybody on YouTube is like, find your niche, find your niche. And that's really great. But what you need to do is you need to find your niche within what you're doing even further. So not just your niche of like, oh, I really love hockey. Let's say you're a hockey creator and you really, really love hockey. You want to focus on hockey. And you think to yourself, you see a bunch of other people putting out hockey related videos and you're like, holy cow, like hockey's so saturated. Yeah, it might be, but there's always a new angle, a new niche that you can niche down to within the hockey sphere that could make you successful. Maybe you decide to, you're ranking the top 10 plays every week on the same day of all the games that week. You're finding the best clips and you're talking about those top 10 and analyzing them. Maybe you are finding funny hockey moments from the last 10 years. Whatever the case might be, you got to find your niche within the niche. Which I'm saying those words a ton, but you're niching down within that. So for Camden, for example, back to his niche where it's first-time home buyers and investors who are home hacking, kind of seems to be what he's done. Maybe for another real estate agent, they're like, you know what, I'm just going to focus on luxury homes. I might not sell as many, but I sell one or two of these, $2 million homes. I'm set for the year. It's all good. Maybe that's what your niche is, right? So saturation in a market can kind of be a figment of your imagination. And according to Camden's logic, and then just us thinking through it out loud, that's not quite a real thing. So in essence, to kind of wrap up, if you have an idea, if you have something you want to be dedicated to, do it, dedicate yourself to it, and really go for it, because that eliminates half the competition right there. If you're dedicated to something, you're going to win. Next up, the haters. Don't listen to the hate. In fact, use the hate to fuel you and make you better at what you do. It's kind of like Camden. People don't like maybe that he's kind of funny on social media and he's maybe more popular than they are and they don't know how to do that. Screw him. It's Camden's thing and he's figured out a way to do it. So don't listen to the hate. And then saturation is a bit of a figment of your imagination. Niche down within your niche and you're going to find the pinpoint that you can take, that section of the market you can take. So those are my takeaways for what we talked about with Camden. I'm very excited that Camden was able to come on. Like I said before in the outro to the full set of the podcast, all of his links will be down below. Appreciate you guys watching till the end of this video.
If you liked it, if you have someone you want to nominate to come on the podcast and get interviewed, so that way we can analyze kind of what they're doing in their business, please leave a comment below. Tell us exactly who that is, and we'll get that set up. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ethan. Thank you so much for watching Garage Built. We'll see you next time.